Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, you are welcome. If it's your first time here, you're welcome. I'm Esther Elijah and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I'm going to be talking about food, enjoyment, plenty things, but most importantly I'll be taking you through my aviation journey, how I started, where I am now, and where I'm heading to. So today I'm going to be giving you the gist of how I went solo, my first solo flight. Just relax, chill, and follow me. Okay, so I'm currently in Johannesburg. I'm in South Africa. And yeah, aviation has always been something I love and have always wanted to do. So I came into this school and School X. Yeah. And yeah, we started the whole aviation training stuff. Mind you, first thing you need to know about your training process is you go to the GF, that's the general flying area. So my training started in the Johannesburg general flying area. Yeah. So there they teach you how to fly straight and level, how to basic turns, how to just know your aircraft basically. Not everything, but just the basics. How to fly straight, how to climb, how to descend. That was majorly what we did. And yeah, that exercise went beautifully well, and I moved on to the second part of training, which is your circuit, flying your circuit pattern. And basically, pardon my basically because I'll be saying it a lot in this video. Okay, so basically I went for my circuit training, still in process, like it's all together. When you go to the GF, learn how to fly straight and level, descent, climbs, then you go to the circuit, move on to the circuit training. So the circuit pattern is, we have the normal circuit pattern, which is, okay, here I'm going to be using the basic English for anybody to understand. So a circuit pattern is a certain kind of pattern for flying, which is the rectangular pattern, and it's usually a left hand flight pattern. And we also have the irregular one, that is also the right, but it's not a regular flight pattern that we fly. And another reason for that is because of where our ATC guys are positioned. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Ask your questions down in the comment section and I'll be delighted to answer all of them. Okay, so back to my story. We went to the circuit and we started flying. Basically in the circuit, in my time, I was taught from takeoff. Okay, we learned how to take off, how to, take off, fly your upwind, crosswind, downwind, base, and then back to first. So it's a rectangle. If I can, I would put it somewhere here. I'll put it somewhere here in the video. Sorry, I was looking at myself, I'm a fine girl. Okay, so we started that and all that went well. Not exactly. It was very difficult for me, so I'll be very clean and very, honest. It was a bit difficult because I did not know my reference points. So it's a personality thing, I think. Maybe I was nonchalant, maybe, because I could actually fly or go to a certain place 20 million times and still get missing because I don't care. So I don't drive, I only fly planes. So it's kind of, I think that also, contributed, but I don't blame anybody, I blame myself. So yeah, we started the training and did the rectangular left-handed flight pattern. So in my training institution, in the airport where we use, we have runway 29, runway 35, runway 11, and runway 17. So oh yeah, I love runway 29. My choice, but as a pilot, you should know how to take off and land on any runway. So yeah, we report a downwind. That is after your check, and your check, I'm going to put it somewhere, but I'll just say it because I'll be talking a little bit fast. So downwind checks is brakes on and off, and you do your brakes on and off because you want to check the brake pressure so that you don't go to your finals and your brakes aren't working. So what you're doing, brakes on and off, that's stepping on the brake and taking your feet out slowly, is to check for the pressure. So then we would brakes on and off, undercarriage, down and locked for downwind. So when you say down and locked, it means that you've released your undercarriage, your tire. You've released it and it is down and locked. So what you're saying, you're also doing it. But for my training aircraft, it was a fixed undercarriage. So down and locked. Now at this point, this is where you know if you would call an emergency or negotiate or do an emergency landing, or call a mayday call, make a mayday call rather. Because at this point, you're supposed to have your landing wheels out. That's your undercarriage. You're supposed to have it out, your wheels out, so that you can touch down. It also induces drag to slow down the aircraft. Yeah, so undercarriage down and locked, landing light is on, and flaps if necessary. Our advice, yeah, flaps if necessary, depends on what you're doing. So flaps is if necessary, but according to our book, flaps is 10 degrees. So basically, when you apply flaps, your aircraft tends to pitch up. So you put back pressure to put the nose down, counter the effect of the flaps. Then you trim for it and continue. You proceed for your base after seeing, of course, your reference point to my story. Now, I done all that and I was bubbling and all, and what happened. Gang. So here is my story. In the school where I was told, okay, so in my 10-hour check, they're like, the instructor was like, good to go. She should send you solo. What? The instructor should send you solo. Now, I've heard instructors severally discussing me in the hallway. You should send her solo. The other one will be like, okay. The other one say, yeah, I've flown with her, she's good, and all manner of stuff. To me, I believe it's racism because they did it to a couple of other people that look like me. So they kept delaying and taking my money. For example, if I forget a call sign or something, they make me do the entire process again, which was now really frustrating. So frustrating, I packed up and left the country. And after a while, when I was done sleeping, I came back and continued to carry my cross, because this is what I chose to do, guys. This is what I chose to do. So yeah, I came back, encouraged myself in the Lord, encouraged myself, picked myself up, went back to the aircraft, and I tried to do it again. It wasn't working, and then I had to change. Before I changed school, I was told to fly with somebody, one of the instructors, and I went, flew with him. He made me extremely uncomfortable walking to the aircraft. He was like, you know that face of just don't bother, I'm going to just fail you, something like that. So he gave me the face. I was uncomfortable. I already knew it was time for my solo, but everybody was just a drag, and okay. So yeah, he came in telling me I don't feel good, but if you want to fly, let's go fly and all that. I was already uncomfortable, but I went anyway, which was my number one mistake. The moment you don't, my advice is the moment you don't feel okay to do anything in aviation, don't do it. Reason being that you are seated on the left side. You are the pilot in command, and whatever happens, you're responsible. Most of them will tell you, but just put that in front of your heart. You are the pilot in command. You are the boss. You're the person paying, but then listen to your instructor if your instructor is still there. But that, just have it in front of your heart. So we went to fly, and then we got airborne, and he was like giving me the face. He's giving all the stress sounds and all. I just got disorganized. I tried my best to, do my circuit pattern, but it just wasn't working. So, but I tried. I came back, went for my debrief, and he was like, I already told you I'm having a bad day, first of all. Secondly, as far as I'm the CFI, as far as I'm in this school, you can never be a pilot. Just pack up and leave. After spending how much thousand? After putting in my mental work, my strength, my exams, I can never be a pilot. It was just, everything was going down so fast for me. And I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell my brothers. Those ones would have just been shattered. So I didn't tell anybody. I just swallowed it and kept it. And I told him I need a second opinion. And he was like, no, I can just sign your documents now and then you leave the school. I'm like, I need a second opinion. It's like, whatever you want to do, but just know, as far as I'm here, you can never be a pilot. I'm like, okay, cool. Mushishi palala. Thank you very much. Now I got a second opinion, flying now with the school's CFI. Now a CFI is the chief flight instructor. So I requested to fly with the chief flight instructor. And that one walked to the aircraft with a cigarette in his hand, looked at me, smiled, that old witch smile. I was like, are you ready? Start when you're ready. But just keep it in mind, I heard what I was going to call that person's name. Keep it in mind, I heard what Mr. X said. I'm like, okay. So if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you have gone for the flight, or you would have just cancelled? Well, I decided to proceed with my flight, which was another second mistake. I went for my flight, and we became airborne again, and he's like, look behind you. So I turned and looked behind me and looked at him. Why did I look behind me? What am I looking for? And he said, were you not told? I'm like, told what? Okay, when you look behind you, you should check to see that the runway is behind you. I'm like, okay. At that point, it did not make sense to me. So we continued, did what we did. As long as I was flying with him, every time I did it go around, go around is you come to the runway, you touch down and continue. Most times you don't, you touch down and continue. So more like a touch and go, not a go around. Sorry, a go around is you're still airborne, but a touch and go is you touch the runway and take off again. So for every time we touched down, like touch and go, we did a touch and go, I looked back. I did not know what I was looking for, but I'd look back and continue. And this guy excuse me, and this guy was on his phone, not minding what I was doing. All he wanted to see was that I looked back. I tried my best, but I guess it wasn't good enough. We landed. Long story cut short, he was like, I heard what Mr. X said. I so want to call his name. So I really, really want to call his name. But I'll try. Maybe in another video. So I heard what Mr. X said. You can't be a pilot. You should look for something. Maybe you should do business. Maybe you should do business, sell something. You just forget it. I'm like, okay. Mind you, I've flown with a couple of instructors and everybody was like, good. Because they kept changing my instructors from my first hour from my intro flight to where I was at that moment. They kept turning me. And everybody was like, clear her, send her for solo. But I guess what happened, life happened. And I told that person, I said, you know what, just give me my stuff. I want to leave the school. And he's like, you know, we're not going to give you your money, blah blah blah. I thought I will give that gist another time, but let me carry you along. Long story short, I changed my school and I went to the CFI. I told him, this is how many hours I have and my life is coming to an end. He laughed at me and said, you don't do that to yourself. In his own words, I have sent people on higher hours, 10 hours more than you for solo, and today they are done with their CPL. So why? And some of them are even flying for big aircraft. So why would you look down on yourself? And you're on how many hours? Why? I'm like, okay, so I'm better than some people. All right, so I can do this. I again encourage myself to do a lot. So one day, okay, yeah, we did 2 flights. The first flight was, he said, jump into the aircraft, let me see what they're saying. And I went, pulled the seat back and watched me. Said nothing. We did that flight and another flight. And one day I came to school just to chill. I don't think I was flying that day. I just came to school to chill because when I'm in a noisy environment, not noisy like Simba, drums and all, like noisy environment mentally. I go to school because that's what I like. So I go to school and just even when I'm not doing anything, I just sit down there and watch aircraft take off from that. And that day I went and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm just chilling. He's like, if you're free flights and let's go. I was like, okay, my pre-flight video is going to be coming up after this one, so you see what pre-flight is. Really. So please subscribe, like, share, comment, send your questions, and I'll be delighted to answer all of them. I love to answer every single question. So I did my pre-flight, jumped into the aircraft and went. We did 1 circuit and I think 1 circuit or 2, I can't remember how many circuits it was. And then it's like, just park somewhere around the hangar, that hangar there, and I'm going to just park around the hangar there. I'm like, why are we not going to the apron? He said, just park here. I'm okay, so I parked. He got off the aircraft and said, now if you want to die, feel free. If you want to die, feel free to die. If you want to kill yourself, feel free. Our aircraft is insured right now. You're alone in this aircraft. Make sure you make yourself proud. And those words alone really, that's just that statement or phrase, make yourself proud, really made me feel like, okay, I'm actually doing something right. For some people that would have been harsh for them or something, but make yourself proud was, I gotta make myself proud. I was going to not only make myself proud, but make my sister, my brothers, and my parents proud, because they currently are my biggest cheerleaders. And disappointing them is one thing I never want to do, and I do not want to even think about it. So yeah, I went for, that was how I asked him. I said, what am I even going to say? How do I even? He said, but if you're flying, why are you scared? Go. In fact, I don't have time for this. So I closed the door, asked me to pin it, and I did my radio call. Solo student, normal radio call, and I said solo student. They cleared me, and I went, did my stuff, and I'm not dead. I did my flight, and it was the most beautiful flight ever. I came down, landed, taxied back to my hangar, the apron, and that was how your girl went solo. I'm going to insert a picture or a video somewhere of my solo flight to see how I was even dressed that day. I was not even in the mood to fly, but it happened, and I went solo. Yeah, here comes to the end of our chit chat story time gist of how I went solo, my first solo flight. So if you have questions, put it down in the comment section and I will answer all your questions, comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and please share this video. It's still your girl, Esther Elijah, and I love it. Bye.
Stored on the floor beneath you. We should be on the ground shortly.